Hey, I wanted to take a break from playing with my shake weight to bring you a video on subtle energies and karma and time. So what's the thing with subtle the thing with subtle energies is that we tend to become very disconnected from them the more we get through life. So thinking way back to when we were kids, there was a lot of curiosity and play. There's like a primal urge to play that didn't have any sort of habitual outlet to it quite yet. And the more we get attuned or oriented to different ways of satisfying or vibrating with that energy, matching in action to the feeling, the more we get into the habit of thinking that the action and the feeling are one. And so that's what plays out over time. So the memory of that is usually, it's tandem or at least tangential to what we call karma. Karma is not, a bitch or a person or, you or that person getting what they deserve. It's getting what we have gotten into the habit of getting. So speaking more specifically to using myself as an example, there's that subtle energy driving us. And me as a kid, that would drive me to ask questions, what's this, what's that, the thing that kids notoriously do. And this one time my mom just got really annoyed and overreacted, which is her stuff. It's her, karma. It's her, in that moment, what she memorized and unconsciously performed as the action to do in that scenario or in that case. And that's essentially what karma boils down to, is the protocol, the procedures to follow in a given situation that we memorized, that we learned, that we picked up. And so resolving that karma has to do with unlearning the unconscious habits and patterns and creating new ones. And getting out of having the new patterns serve us and others to an end of unconditional love, and especially being the unconditional love that the moment needs and requires, asks of us. So when we talk about subtle energies, it's almost like if consciousness is going in a kind of spiral or circle, the subtle energies we can think of as kind of like the start of a new cycle. So at the start of a new cycle, there's like a foundation for the spiral or cycle to grow out of. And if there's a lot of karmic residue, a lot of memory, a lot of baggage at the foundation, that's going to influence, if not outright dictate, the course of that cycle. And this gets into a lot of other things, especially as it pertains to women and being in tune with cycles. but that's something for another video. For now, this is just to let you know that there's like a, use this, boop, do it this way. There's a kind of direction that life is taking for us, and the more we can regulate and learn about ourselves, the more we can take charge of where that course is taking us. We can be the masters, the captains of our own ship, so to speak. Right. So, and this is something that I've known and learned and felt since my time in the service. Right. If I'm right here and my target is over here, let's say this is 100 meters distance, and let's say this is you, and this is your a goal you want to achieve, a state of being you want to be in. Yeah, just something that you want in life, a target for you to hit. Then if I'm off, let's say this is 100 meters, if I'm off by like an inch back here, I might be off by like a foot over here, versus if I'm a lot more accurate over here, if I'm only off by like, you know, a hair over here, like dead center of my target, and then over here on the target, I might be dead center, I might be, you know, in that like circle, or in the circle right here. I might hit the, you know, the tee box, or I might hit just like outside of the tee box. Either way, I'm going to be very accurate, and the more accurate I can be, especially with my emotions and my thoughts pertaining to what it is that I want to manifest, the more accurately I will, the more satisfied I will be with what manifests. So if life is not going the way you like, or yeah, there's like some overall dissatisfaction, you want to get really in tune with your cycles of thought and emotion. Your thought just describing your mind, and your emotions describing the state of your body. Yep. So if you don't like your emotions, something is off with your body and your mind. And if you don't like your thoughts, something is off with your body and mind, right? The mind and body are working together, and they're using emotion and thought as the language to help you get oriented towards your target being I think happiness is one of those words that we've said so much that it's kind of lost its meaning, right? There is no permanent state of anything. And so what we want to aim for is raising our average consistency of contentedness and happiness and joy, and positive experience. Raising our, our average consistency of positivity and positive experience. And this is what the spiritual community calls raising vibration, raising awareness, raising consciousness. Yeah, so you know you're of a higher or not, you're good with your vibration when you're more grateful than not, right? We are all vibrating beings, right? Vibration being that like up and down. And so there's always an up, there's always a down, there's always middle, there's so much in between. And even the lows, you know how Joseph Campbell says, every emotion fully felt is bliss. Even the lows can be enjoyed to some extent if we're not resisting being where we are. Yep. So that's what I meant with subtle energies, is that the subtle energies start here. And then as that energy comes in and is filtered through our bodies, it takes on like the taste of our essence. It's a weird way to describe it. It takes on more of a feeling of us as an individual. And so it's telling us how we are as an individual. So whether or not you are enjoying your life, that quality is letting you know who you are being, not who you are permanently. So there's you can enjoy life. You don't have to be a pessimist unless you enjoy being a pessimist, and then enjoy being a pessimist. You know, do you boo boo. So yeah, as it gets filtered through our body, our physical, our mental, emotional, and physical body, that energy then starts to manifest and play out, especially through us and through people around us. So if it's like if you feel like your life is derailed or just gone to shit or fucking beautiful, then you can look to your past to be like, okay, what was it back here that was that's influencing what's happening today and what might happen in the future, right? So much of anxiety is predicated on what we fear might happen. And so much of that is based on past experience. So if you want an exercise to do to help you navigate that, it's asking yourself in the second person what's holding you back, what's going on. There's a lot of talk, and that's also losing its significance in terms of healing our inner child. So if you have this idea of like the inner child, then the inner child becomes the problem to fix, right? So and this is something that I found myself getting into and then subsequently getting away from. Why? Because we don't want to fixate on the problem. When we fixate on the problem, we create more of the problem. And it has a lot to do with avoidance. So if there's something that you don't like and you pinpoint, let's say an experience or the origination of the trauma back to your childhood, you might come to think or believe that your life's purpose is to knowingly or unknowingly to like heal your inner child, and so all your time and energy goes into thinking about, again, like fixating, thinking about and spending time and energy on, my inner child being healed or being healed enough, right? And that's not how we solve the problem. The way we solve any issue is by being present with the emotion and feeling right here, right now. It's true that those experiences that we had as children, just like this, like the trajectory map here, which is a little coffee thingy, influences our trajectory, and so we don't want to like be going down the line constantly looking back or walking backward, making sure our inner child is just right. It's all about playing with the energy in the moment. So if you have early or even late experiences that are now influencing your trajectory, and you feel that, it's not any longer about the past experience, it's about your relationship to the emotion, sensation, and thoughts here and now. You know? And the exercise is just to repeatedly and calmly, we can do that now actually, and you can come back to this video if you don't have time for this now, but the gist of it is to just sit, get into a space where you're relatively okay. But I don't have any place. You do have a place. Chill. It's a room. It's a bathroom. Bathroom for me. Awesome. And just getting there. And just starting to breathe. Just start to breathe. And you see how you're focusing on your breath right now instead of the thoughts? Keep that going. And whenever the thoughts start to distract you, or you get carried away with the thoughts, it's enough to just acknowledge it and come back to the breath. Interrupt the thought pattern with a nice inhale, a nice deep inhale. Then ask yourself whatever it is that you need to ask yourself. So let's say, for example, I can be like, okay, what is troubling you? What is holding you back? What is an area that you can work on to improve the overall quality of life and being? And your thinking mind, your analytical mind might start to try. That's the red flag right there, is whenever your mind is trying. Your mind might try to be like, okay, I think it's this. This might be it. It's not it. Let it go. Come back to the breath. And you might find that this is kind of telling your mind, teaching your mind, I don't like what you are immediately trying to bring me. Bring me something better. Bring me something of higher quality. And so we ask ourselves again, what is something that you can work on to improve overall quality of life and being? And as we're asking ourselves, what asking ourselves repeatedly is doing is getting our nervous system away from our environment, from helping us to survive, from helping us to get a feel for our immediate environment, or the anxiety about the future, or troubles of the past. And it's us signaling to our nervous system, our deeper mind, our deeper layers, hey, this question is what needs focus right now. And so we ask again, not expecting an answer, just simply asking and seeing, observing what it is that surfaces. What is something that we can focus on, that we can do, that we can not do to improve our overall quality of experience? And as I said that last one, I started to feel a little bit of energy right here that habitually has the tinge of discomfort to it. And so observing how I habitually label things early on helps me to catch it and be like, oh, okay, I was about to say I feel or am uncomfortable, and rather being like, oh, okay, that's this energy that I'm feeling is energy that is trying to come in into my body, into my field of awareness. And so if I automatically label it as discomfort, I'm going to immediately, reflexively, reactively, start to resist. And you'll find that whatever you resist is what you're going to kind of keep. It's what you're going to be wrestling with. So if you don't want to wrestle with something, don't resist it. And it's kind of counterintuitive, especially as we're used to thinking of wrestling or struggling with something. And so that just comes back, circles back, spirals back to the trajectory. If you can identify these energies earlier and earlier and earlier on, you will be influencing, I don't want to say controlling or dictating. I think influencing is best. You'll be influencing your own trajectory of thoughts, of emotions. It's all about momentum. Because if you can control your thoughts, introduce certain ways of thinking and feeling and labeling, you're going to influence the momentum of being, of experiencing. So if I'm just being, and let's say I'm not having a good time, or it's one of those lulls in life, or I'm in a depressed mood, or in a state of anger, in a state of bliss, and happiness and joy, whatever the current emotion or quality of life and being is, I don't have to just be along for the ride. I can influence the momentum of the current energies. So if I want to introduce or inject a little more happiness into my life, then I introduce the word happiness. And the happiness, the word happiness, has a lot of, let's say, synonyms, of memories, has so much that we can then, that the mind, if you allow it, will start to free associate. And if you allow it to free associate, you can start to learn who you are, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. So if I introduce happiness right now into my mind, I think of I think of food, I think of going like driving, especially. I spend a lot of time in my car. It's because I love driving. It makes me happy. It puts me in a state where it doesn't make me happy, but it primes me and increases probability for happiness. And so that's all we want to do. We don't want to make ourselves or anyone else happy. We want to cultivate an inner space in our mind, in our body, in our physical, literal body, for familiarity with positivity, love, all these words that describe positive life experiences. And so if we're, I don't know, like I picture something like coming out, and we're just molding it. We're just molding it, right? And so it's constantly coming out. And so we want to like maybe give it a certain direction, or keep it straight, or course correct, anything like that. And so if what is coming out is something that we don't like, we can shape it, mold it, and influence its momentum, so it comes back to something that we do like, or we find meaning, purpose, significance and maybe even necessity in what's happening that we do or do not like. Yeah. Cool. All right, let me know your thoughts or how you're doing. How are you doing? How are you today? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe,